Wife left me during her girls' trip and emptied our joint account. She had no idea about. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. She told me she was going on a girls' trip, 4 days in Miami with her college friends. She said they needed a break, some sun, maybe a spa day or two. I didn't think twice. We'd been married for 5 years, and I trusted her. At least, I thought I did. The morning she left, she kissed me goodbye at the airport, but something about it felt off. Too quick, too distant. I brushed it off, thinking I was overanalyzing. Maybe she was just stressed about travel. By the time I got home, I started tidying up a bit, planning to surprise her by deep cleaning the house while she was gone. I even picked up her favorite wine to chill for when she came back. Around noon, I decided to order lunch. That's when I opened our bank app and saw something that made my stomach drop. The joint account was empty. Every last cent gone. Over $47,000 vanished in the span of 2 hours. I refreshed the app, thinking maybe it was a glitch. Nope. Same balance. $0. I checked the transaction history. 3 big transfers. One to a name I didn't recognize, one to a random Venmo account, and one to an international PayPal. All recent. All hers. I stared at my phone, heart pounding. I opened Find My iPhone to see where she was. We'd always shared locations, just for convenience. But now it said location not available. She'd turned it off. That's when the first flicker of fear turned into something darker, something colder. I wasn't just confused. I was being played. Something was wrong. Very, very wrong. I scrolled through her Instagram just to feel closer to her somehow. Maybe she'd posted something that would explain all this. That's when my phone buzzed. A text from Mike, a mutual friend of ours who I hadn't heard from in months. Hey man, you should see what your wife just posted on her story. You okay? My stomach twisted. My hands were shaking as I clicked on the message and opened Instagram again. There it was. Her story. Just posted 30 minutes ago. The music playing was loud and upbeat. I could hear her laughing, loud, drunk, happy. But it wasn't a girl's trip. And the man in the background, the one pouring her champagne, wasn't one of her girlfriends. He was her ex. And he had his arm around her waist. I watched the Instagram story with my phone gripped so tight, my knuckles went white. My hand was actually shaking. It started with a slow pan of a private pool, crystal clear water, sun shining, palm trees swaying. Typical vacation flex. But then I saw her. She was in the water, laughing, holding a champagne flute. She looked different. Not just relaxed, free. Like someone who'd dropped all her responsibilities, all her commitments. Like someone who'd dropped me. Then the camera shifted. Someone else was recording. The shot zoomed in, and that's when I saw him. Jason, her ex-boyfriend from college. The same guy she once told me was a dumb phase. The same guy who cheated on her and left her crying in her dorm room, long before I ever came into her life. The same guy she said she blocked on everything. But there he was, shirtless, tanned, and smiling like he'd won some kind of prize. He slid into the water behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist. She leaned back into him like it was the most natural thing in the world. They kissed. Not a peck. A deep, slow, full-body kind of kiss. The video cut off after that, but the damage was done. I stared at the screen blank, like I couldn't process what I had just seen. My chest felt hollow, like someone had scooped something out of me. The disbelief lasted maybe 2 minutes. Then it turned into something else. Numbness. Cold, clinical numbness. I went back to the bank app. Still zero. I looked at the transfers again. The amounts, the names, the time stamps. It was clear now. She didn't just leave me behind for a few days of fun. She was never planning to come back to the same life. This wasn't a trip. This was a switch. She had planned it. Took the money. Turned off her location. Left the front door smiling. Kissed me goodbye like it was nothing. And now she was drinking champagne with the same guy who once crushed her. I sat there, phone in hand, trying to breathe. Trying to make sense of how I missed all of it. And then I remembered something. The old iPad. It had been sitting in my desk drawer for months. We used to share it years ago, and I never turned off the message sync. She never did either. Heart racing, I opened the drawer and powered it on. It lit up, and within seconds, the messages started pouring in. The iPad came to life like it had just been waiting for this moment. I watched as the screen filled with blue and gray bubbles. Hundreds of messages syncing from her phone. Her name. His name. Line after line. I sat there, numb at first, eyes scanning the texts like I wasn't even reading real words. But the more I read, the more it felt like acid crawling up my throat. Her. He has no clue. I could tell him I'm going to Mars and he'd believe it. Him. You always said he was too soft. Boring little husband. Her. Elmeo, I'm going to drain that account before I land in Miami. Might as well get something out of it. That one hit like a punch. Him. We'll toast to your new single life with his money bottle with popping. Her. Already did. Dumbass waved me off like a good little puppy. That was from the airport. The same day she kissed me goodbye. There were days worth of messages. Some flirty, some cruel, all of them mocking me. They talked about the plan. How they'd meet in Miami. How she'd move in with him after getting her cut. How I'd figure it out eventually. Every time she told me, I love you, she was probably texting him 2 minutes later, calling me stupid behind my back. They even laughed about the house. My name's the only one on the deed. She joked that I'd cry on the couch alone when I realized she wasn't coming back. They were never hiding it. They just didn't think I was smart enough to find out. They were wrong. My jaw tightened. I could feel heat rising behind my eyes, but no tears came. Just rage. Not the loud kind. Not the punch a hole in the wall kind. The quiet kind. The dangerous kind. The kind that focuses. I closed the iPad slowly. Sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. She thought I'd break. She thought I'd panic. Cry. Beg. Maybe even take her back. But she miscalculated. Because I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was calm. I was cold. And I was already making a list. Bank accounts. Assets. Digital trails. Backup files. Old passwords. She emptied our joint account. Fine. She made fun of me with the guy who once dumped her for a girl with a trust fund. Fine. She left thinking I was a fool. She's about to find out just how much of a fool I'm not. She thinks I'm heartbroken. I'm not. I'm calculating. Back when COVID first hit, we were bored, stuck inside, and everyone online was talking about crypto. So we jumped on the bandwagon. We split the money, $5,000 each, and bought some coins. I handled the account. She didn't care much, just wanted to see if it would blow up one day. After a few months, she lost interest and forgot about it. I didn't. I kept the wallet active, watched it grow slowly, occasionally moved things around. She never once asked about it again. After reading those texts and seeing what she did to our joint account, that wallet was the first thing I thought of. I opened the app, logged in, and stared at the numbers. $83,491. It felt like the first breath of air after drowning. She thought she drained everything. She thought she left me broke, stuck with bills and no way out. But she forgot about this account, just like she forgot everything else that didn't matter to her. So I moved fast. Transferred every cent to a new wallet under a new name. Cold storage. Locked tight. Untraceable. Then I got petty. I logged into our streaming apps. Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Spotify. The ones I paid for, the ones she still used under my name. Gone. Logged her out of everything. Changed all the passwords. Her iCloud? Logged in and disabled her access. Remote wiped the old iPad just in case. Then I went for the phone. The plan had always been simple. We were on a shared plan. One of those family unlimited deals. I was the account holder. I called the carrier, told them to disconnect her line. No warning, no heads up. If she was still sipping champagne by the pool, she was about to lose music, movies, and a working phone all in the same hour. I wasn't done. I pulled out our paperwork. Mortgage. Insurance. Titles. Anything with her name next to mine. Highlighted everything I legally controlled. Everything she couldn't touch. I felt wired. Calm on the outside, but sharp. Focused. Like something inside me had flipped. She wanted to play dirty? Fine. But I don't fight with emotion. I fight with facts. With documents. With digital trails. I poured myself a drink. Just one. Sat down at the kitchen counter. And then I made the call. A divorce attorney answered on the third ring. Hi, I said. I think my wife just committed financial fraud, and I'd like to talk options. She'd gone for the throat. She didn't realize I kept a blade of my own. The lawyer didn't waste time. Her name was Marlene, and within 5 minutes of me laying out what happened, she leaned back in her chair, smiled a little, and said, she picked the wrong guy to mess with. She wasn't one of those soft-spoken types. She was sharp, fast, didn't blink much. Every time I told her another detail, about the bank transfers, the Instagram story, the synced texts, she just nodded like she'd seen worse. But this one was personal now. Good news, she said. You're in a no-fault state, but we can still go for the throat. She committed financial misconduct. And if we can prove adultery, we stack it. Proof? I asked. You have it already, she said. Screenshots, synced messages, the story. Oh, and her mocking you in texts while stealing your money? Judges love that. We spent an hour going through everything. She started drafting the paperwork immediately. I signed the first set of documents right there in her office. By the time I walked out, I had a plan in motion. A real one. On the way home, I stopped at an electronics store, bought a tiny USB drive and a voice recorder. Not to spy, just for one message. That night, I sat in our living room, her throw blanket still folded on the couch. Her favorite candle half burnt. It was like she never left, like she still lived there. I stared at the camera for a long time before I hit record. I saw everything, I said. The messages, The story. The bank account. I know about Jason. I know what you planned. I'm not yelling. I'm not crying. I'm not begging. I just want you to know you lost. I told her about the crypto wallet. About cutting her off. About the lawyer. You walked out thinking I'd fall apart. I didn't. I rebuilt while you were still in the pool. Then I smiled. Just a little. Play this when you get home. I saved the video, copied it to the USB, and taped a note to the front. Watch me. Next morning, I packed a bag. Just a small one. Enough for a few nights. Called my cousin across the state and asked if I could crash for a bit. Told him I'd explain when I got there. Before I left, I walked through every room once. Not sad. Just done. I left the flash drive on the kitchen counter, right next to her favorite mug. Then I locked the door, got in the car, and drove away. She would land in 6 hours, and I wouldn't be there to greet her. She walked into silence. No music playing, no smell of dinner, no lights on. Just the hollow sound of her heels on the wood floor. The house echoed. That was the first thing she probably noticed. The second was that the living room was empty. No couch. No TV. No coffee table. Not even the rug. She stood there for a minute, bag still in hand, blinking like maybe she'd walked into the wrong place. Then she saw it, on the kitchen counter. A small flash drive, sitting next to her favorite coffee mug. Taped to it was a note, "Watch me." She didn't need to plug it in to know something was wrong. But she did anyway. She used her laptop. Probably sat on the floor, surrounded by nothing, still sunburned from Miami, still thinking maybe this was a joke. But it wasn't. The video started with a screen recording. Her texts to Jason. The laughing emojis. The dumbass husband lines. The screenshots of our drained bank account. Then it cut to her Instagram story. Her in the pool, wrapped in her ex's arm. Next came a slow fade to my face. Calm. Clear. I explained everything. That I knew. That I saw it all. That while she was planning her new life, I was quietly building my exit. I told her about the lawyer. The crypto she forgot about. The fact that I'd already filed for divorce. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just told the truth. You thought I'd be broken, I said. But I was just getting started. The video ended. And I imagined she sat there for a long time after, screen glowing in her face, realizing what had happened. She checked the bank account next. Still empty. Then she tried Netflix, Hulu, Spotify. Nothing worked. Her phone started acting weird. She probably thought it was a glitch, until she realized her line had been shut off. That's when she called from her laptop, FaceTime, using Wi-Fi. I saw her name flash across my screen. Ashley calling. I watched the screen buzz for a moment. Then again. Then again. By the fourth time, her contact name had changed to just a number. Must have been a backup account. She was desperate now. I let it ring. Then I hit decline. The phone buzzed again. This time, a message popped up. Please, can we talk? Please just pick up. I'm so sorry. I didn't answer. I just turned off my phone. She called 4-6 times that night. I watched the screen light up again and again, the same name over and over. I never answered. The voicemails started soft. Hey, I just got home and saw everything. Can we talk? Please. Then came the text. I messed up. I know I did. You didn't have to go this far. Can we at least talk like adults? Are you really doing this? Answer me. It didn't take long for the tone to change. The apology act flipped into rage. You petty little coward. This is insane. I didn't cheat. We were just talking. You stole my money. You think this makes you strong? You're pathetic. Then silence for about an hour. After that, the messages turned back to begging. Please don't do this. Where am I supposed to go? I don't have anything. Jason left. He's not answering either. That one made me pause. I read it again, slower this time. Jason left her. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Quiet, cold, just once. The guy she threw everything away for? Gone the moment she needed him. Maybe he saw the video too. Maybe he was just using her. Maybe he never really planned to stick around. She had no money. I'd frozen our cards. She had no job. She quit 3 weeks ago to take a break. No working phone line, no car, it was in my name, no apartment, also mine, and now no backup boyfriend. By midnight, she'd been kicked out of the hotel. No card on file, no way to pay. They held her luggage. She sent a picture. Her, sitting on the curb, mascara smeared, hair tied up, still wearing the same outfit from the plane. I didn't reply. That's when she called her parents. Too late, because earlier that day I'd already talked to them. I sent her mom the screenshots. I told her dad about the money. I explained everything calmly, respectfully, without anger. Her dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I'm sorry you had to go through this. You didn't deserve that. Her mom cried on the phone. They knew their daughter wasn't perfect, but they hadn't known this. When Ashley finally called them, probably sobbing, spinning her version of the story, they didn't send money. They sent her a plane ticket home. Economy. 1 bag. No welcome party. She thought she was flying high, living free, running the show. Now she was grounded, broke, alone. And I was still just getting started. When I called her dad, I wasn't sure what I expected. Maybe anger. Maybe denial. Maybe him taking her side like most parents would. But when I told him what happened about the girl's trip, the Instagram story, the texts, the money, he didn't yell. He didn't defend her. He just let out a long sigh and went quiet. That girl, he said after a few seconds, she's been lying since she was 13. It hit me harder than anything else. The disappointment in his voice wasn't new. It sounded like a familiar kind of exhaustion, like he'd been waiting for something like this to happen again. I told him I wasn't calling for drama. I wasn't trying to turn her family against her. I just didn't want her twisting the story. I understand, he said. Send me everything. I'll talk to her mother. So I did. I sent screenshots. Her text to Jason, the Instagram clips, her plans to drain our account. I even sent the messages where she laughed about me not knowing. Later that night, I sent the same to her sister, her cousin, even her childhood best friend who had always acted cold toward me. None of them replied right away. But within an hour, I noticed they all unfollowed her on social media. Her perfect little online world started cracking. The image she'd kept up, good wife, loyal partner, just needed a break, was gone, replaced by the truth. The receipts were out there. And the people closest to her weren't defending her this time. The next day, her cousin finally messaged me. I'm so sorry. I never knew she was doing that. You didn't deserve it. Even her sister, who once told her she was lucky to have me, just wrote, do what you need to do. Don't look back. That's when I knew she was really alone now. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about closure. I drove to Marlene's office, walked in, signed the final papers. Grounds, financial misconduct and adultery. It was official. Divorce proceedings had started. She couldn't stop it now. She couldn't beg, fake tears, or guilt her way out of this one. She'd already shown everyone exactly who she was. I just gave them the proof. When I left the office, I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel sadness either, just something lighter. Like the weight she'd been for the past 5 years had finally slid off my back. She built her world on lies. Now it was collapsing. Around her, she showed up at my office around noon, 2 days after the divorce papers were filed. I was in a meeting when the front desk buzzed to say someone was demanding to see me. I knew immediately. No one else would show up like that. Uninvited, emotional, loud. I told the receptionist to hold her there. I didn't move. I finished the meeting like nothing happened. If she wanted to make a scene, she'd have to wait for it. 15 minutes later, I stepped into the lobby and there she was. Hair messy, face flushed, eyes already glassy. She wasn't the calm, polished version of herself she liked to show the world. This was the real version, unraveling. She spotted me and stormed up, voice rising instantly. You're seriously not going to even talk to me? Heads turned. A couple co-workers paused near the water cooler. I stayed calm. You need to leave. She laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Leave? You think you can just ghost me and pretend we didn't spend 5 years together? You ended that when you flew to Miami with Jason and emptied our bank account, I said, voice steady. That hit her. The air around us got tense. A few more people had stopped to listen. My manager walked into the hallway. Ashley's voice dropped into that fake sweet tone she used when she wanted something. We can fix this. We made mistakes, both of us. Let's just talk. Privately. I shook my head. There's nothing to fix. That's when the guilt trip turned into threats. I'll tell everyone you stole from me, she snapped. You're not as innocent as you think. I've already told everyone, I said. And I brought the receipts. Then she lost it. Started shouting. Calling me names. Yelling about her money and how I ruined her life. That's when security showed up. 2 guards. Calm, professional. One asked her to leave. She refused, so they escorted her out. The whole office watched in stunned silence as she was led out the front doors, still yelling over her shoulder. And then, after the door shut behind her, someone in the back clapped. Then another. Before I knew it, my coworkers were actually applauding. I just shook my head and went back to my desk. No gloating. No grin. Just relief. Later that afternoon, Marlene called. The court date's confirmed, she said. 10 days from now. Let's finish this. And we would. The divorce went through faster than I expected. Marlene showed up to court like a storm in a suit. Calm, controlled, deadly. We had everything, screenshots, account records, message log. Ashley tried to play the victim, told the judge I was controlling and cold, but her story fell apart fast. When they showed the texts of her and Jason planning to drain the account, even the judge raised an eyebrow. The final ruling came in less than an hour. I kept the house. I kept the car. I kept everything we built, because I actually built it. She walked away with nothing. Worse than nothing, she walked away with debt. The court ordered her to pay back half the money she took from the joint account, plus a chunk of my legal fees. Her face when the decision came down, she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just sat there, frozen, like the weight of everything finally hit her all at once. Afterward, I didn't say a word to her. I walked out of the courtroom and never looked back. I sold the house a few weeks later. Good profit. Clean break. I didn't want to live in the place where everything happened. I didn't want her perfume lingering in the closet or memories tied to every wall. I found a new apartment, smaller, cleaner, started therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand how I let things go so far without seeing it. I wanted to be better. Not bitter. Just better. I started working out again. Nothing crazy. Just enough to feel strong in my body again. I slept through the night for the first time in months. I stopped checking my phone every 5 seconds. And slowly, I started to feel like myself again. People told me I handled it well. That I was calm. That I had dignity. But the truth is, I didn't handle it well. I just handled it quietly. I let her think she got away with it. I let her think I'd fall apart. She never expected me to rise. She left for a vacation. A little getaway with her ex, thought it would be a fun escape. She didn't know it was her exit. She took the money. But I took everything else. My peace. My future. My self-respect. She thought I'd be broken. I wasn't. I was reborn.